We're going to talk to our good friend Brian Steward. I'm going to give him a microphone. I'm going to ask that he doesn't hurt anyone while we do a little talk here. Brian, say something incredibly poignant that will draw the whole masses over to listen to what we have to say.
Something incredibly poignant.
There it is. That's why you should come over here.
I was gonna say something else, but I remembered this was a family show, so you're welcome.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Brian, talk about Fangoria. You are an amazingly talented artist. You've drawn some really incredible things. You've had a lot of great experiences. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, my name is Brian. Obviously, like he said, Brian Steward. I'm actually an illustrator by trade. At least that's what I think I am. And I started off working at Heavy Metal Magazine years ago, and then I transitioned to a film company called Malibu Bay Films and worked for Andy Sedaris. It was basically late-night exploitation movies, the best kind in the world. And we did 12 of those, the DVD releases, and then I moved on to various comics and ended up at this magazine called Fangoria. Some of you guys may have heard of. I grew up reading Fangoria, so the fact that I got to be a part of that was really cool. And I started off as just an artist, and somehow I became a feature writer as well. And we recently resurrected our sister magazine from the 90s called Gorezone, if anybody remembers Gorezone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Gorezone's back. And the best way to describe Gorezone is if you're familiar with Fangoria, Fangoria is like your Michael Myers, your Friday the 13th, your Walking Dead, the straight up horror that most people know. So imagine that's a hot soccer mom, okay? Fangoria is your hot soccer mom. Gorezone, in my estimation, is that filthy step-uncle that's always drunk, wearing the wife-beater t-shirt.
Drunk uncle!
Hold on. Hold your applause. He's, always drunk. The guy you never want to bring your kids around, that's Gorezone, and we're proud of it. So, yeah, Gorezone's, it's good stuff.
That's really cool.
And then also, if anybody's familiar with Full Moon Entertainment, they've been around forever. They were the Charlie Band's company that Charlie Band produced, like Reanimator. He wanted to do the Puppet Master, Demonic Toys, Doll Man, Subspecies. We could be here all day just listing Charlie's credits. Charlie put out a new magazine called Delirium. It's in its infancy. We're only on issue 7, and I'm also a columnist for Delirium. And I don't know any other way to say it. I write the strangest column, I think, in there. It's actually called Strange Love. They pay me to research and find the weirdest nudity in B movies. Yeah, I actually get paid for that, and
That's a lot of work that you have to do then.
It's strenuous, but I try to push through and just get the job done.
You have to do the best job that you can.
I try. But it's been a lot of fun. I get to do what a lot of people don't. I don't want to say they don't have the opportunity. I think the opportunities are out there. You just have to choose to either go safe or go for whatever your dream is. If your dream is to be the best accordion player or the best insurance salesman, hey, that's great. I mean, be the best you can be. But if you want to be the best artist or writer, you could still be the insurance salesman and be okay at it because it's not your passion.
Right.
And I won't say everybody should just throw caution to the wind, quit your job, and run off and do what you want to do. But you're only here for a finite amount of time. And if you can find a way to weave that into your life, whether it's your secondary career or just a really passionate hobby, or if you want to be stupid like me and just say, screw it, I'm just going to draw pictures and write stupid shit, you can do that too. And that's entirely up to you. But you're only, none of us are promised tomorrow. Just because you're 20 years old doesn't mean you're going to make it to 21. Just, if maybe you're going to make it to 100. But, if you don't go for what you want to go for, it's on you. And so far, it's actually worked out. I grew up reading Fangoria. I get to do that. I was the biggest Kiss fan, in my mind in the world. I'm the guy that has the Bally Kiss machine, the pinball machine, all the Mego dolls, all the Viewmasters, all the LPs and 8-tracks, that guy. I got to bring Kiss back to Fangoria with Ace Frehley. We got to do, that was always a big deal to me because they had originally had Gene Simmons in the 80s, and I was like, well, I want to bring Kiss back to Fangoria. So that was a little weird dream of mine that, but I know it sounds silly, but it's things like that. If, if that's what you want to do, that was the silly crap I wanted to do. So I did that.
It's not silly. Like, for instance...
no, it's not, is it?
No, it's not. In the for the first time in the history of Mad Magazine, they had a guest director. And
Yeah.
Al Yankovic had, wanted to do that for so long.
Yeah,
Man
yeah.
just won a Grammy and finally was able to do that.
Yeah, right.
I think you have to go for stuff like that.
Oh,
you really
absolutely, absolutely. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I've gotten to work with, a lot of people that I was a fan of, growing up or a teenager or whatever, doing this job. A lot of these people are my friends now, or my peers. And it's been a lot of fun. And I was always a huge music guy and a horror guy, and I've been able to really, in a weird way, sort of fuse those together. And speaking of horror and music, if you guys remember this band, The Misfits?
The Misfits.
Okay, anybody remember The Misfits? They became Sam Hain and eventually Danzig.
Right.
See, I've been able to do some cool things with that too. Like, I'm going to stand up. I don't like sitting.
Do it.
My friend Erie Vaughn and I, he was in the band Danzig, the bass player, and he was also in Sam Hain. We're working with this other guy, Chris Holbert's the director. We're trying to get this documentary off the ground about the Misfits and their beginnings in Lodi, New Jersey, and how that became Sam Hain and eventually Danzig. Told through Erie's perspective because he was the photographer for the Misfits. So we're doing that. And I'm also working on a film called Elephant Man of War. Some also do films.
Right.
It just turns into this thing. So that's what I'm saying. If you just try for something, it can become other things. Like I'll pause for a minute and go off on a rabbit chase here. You know how people say, like, Will Smith, for example, he's a rapper, and now he thinks he can be an actor, and now he thinks that but that's really not how it works, because it's a creative mind. If he started off making music, and I use a rapper as example because, or Mark Wahlberg even.
Yeah.
These guys start off as doing this, and that's great. But just because they're this, there's no reason they can or can't be this. Because when your brain is a creative thing, it's just you want to do stuff, and it's not about, well, I was this first. It's a lot of times it's just what paid off for those guys first. Some of those guys may have wanted to act first, but the music took off. But so with me, it's still small tier stuff, but I'm getting to make a film, about the Elephant Man coming back to fight Hitler, like you do. And
Yep.
a friend of mine that was on The Walking Dead is actually working on it with me, as well as okay, anybody seen The Human Centipede 2? No? Oh, come on.
There's a guy over there raising his hand.
Lawrence
yeah.
from The Human Centipede 2 is going to be in it. He's actually playing the Elephant Man for us. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. So, it's in pre-production. We're trying to move forward on that. Theo Crane from The Walking Dead. Remember Theo? Huge 7-foot actor.
Tiny.
Okay, if you guys know who Theo is, figure this out. He's playing Hitler. Yeah.
Well,
Awesome, right? Come on.
Theo's
Playing
Hitler.
Hitler. Yeah. And if you let that wrap around your brain a minute, you'll know that's brilliant. Just accept it. It's
My
awesome.
mind is blown.
Yeah.
That's
it should
incredible.
Be. Yeah. So that's what's up. Anybody? Everybody didn't run off yet. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, like Trina Nishimura talked yesterday about being where the work is and being in the right place at the right time. That's a really important aspect of it. But you have to be able to let yourself do that. A lot of people are tied to a job or tied to this or tied to that, and they really want to do other things.
Sure.
You just have to take that plunge.
Absolutely.
You never thought as a child you'd get to work directly with Kiss.
Sure, I did.
Realistically.
I was deluded, but it actually worked out.
It somehow worked out.
I would never have thought that. And there's another project. You just don't know how bad I want to tell you guys about. That's, and I know people say that, well, I'm working on this other thing, but no, it's like my biggest childhood dream is this close to coming true. And hopefully this time next year, if they'll have me back, I can just spew forth the excitement. We'll see.
And you can laugh about it. Ha ha ha! I told you this was coming.
It all happened.
Man, that's awesome.
So we'll see.
Tell us a little bit, though. Just tell us a little bit about it. Like a small portion. Just a little.
I really can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have even mentioned it because I don't mean to be that guy where it's like,
that's
no,
fine.
I've got cool things in the works and there's nothing. But no,
I'm working on this cool thing right now. It's great.
Yeah.
That's going home.
But I can tell you a little bit. Let's get back on Fangoria. We're doing this year. We're going to have a lot of cool things happening. Like the issue that's coming out right now, the showrunner for the show Hannibal, which unfortunately was just hit some rocks. The showrunner for Hannibal is actually one of our guest editor-in-chiefs for this.
Fuller?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
For one issue. And then toward the end of the summer, we're actually finally and duly getting Elvira on the cover, and I'm actually painting a centerfold for her. So we're really excited about that. And for the October issue, I brought something up here. I'll show you. I'm working on. It's not finished, so don't laugh at me, okay? Promise. We're going to be doing a Return of the Living Dead feature. We're going to be bringing back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks, I appreciate it. But that's what I've got going on that I can talk about with Fango, and we're still chugging away on Gore Zone and Delirium and.
Fangoria sounds like it's about to hit its stride really well again.
To be fair, Fango really hit some rocks a few years ago. The 90s were not kind to Fangoria, or maybe, and I'll just be honest, and you're filming this, but I'm going to say it. Fangoria wasn't good to itself for a while. I think, it sort of lost its way trying to find its way because, horror in general, before this explosion with The Walking Dead and everything, horror was not looked upon kindly. And I think Fangoria was trying its best to find its way in a non-horror entertainment world, because horror wasn't the thing. And it kind of backfired, in my opinion. But we have an editor-in-chief now that grew up on this. He's the same age as I am. He loves it just as much or more than any of us, named Chris Alexander. And he realized that for it to survive, it needed to become something else. And with the advent of the internet, everything I've said here could be on YouTube already. There's, news happens literally at the speed of thought. So publishing in general, paper publishing really can't be a news source anymore. It doesn't work that way. It's gone the way of the Pony Express. So what Fangoria has really become is a nostalgia magazine, and Chris has really embraced that, and it's worked really well. And bringing back Gore Zone, it was a nostalgia in itself, and it was able to kind of dig into those creepy corners that Fangoria probably shouldn't because it's still on sale at Barnes & Noble. And, Delirium, which isn't actually affiliated with Fango, although some of us cross over and work at both. Delirium was started off, Charlie was going to do a magazine about the Full Moon catalog, which is huge. And he probably could have done 10 years worth of magazines only on his own movies. But it sort of evolved into something, I'd say somewhat akin to Gore Zone in that it's a B movie, but it gets away from just horror and gets into exploitation and cult films. And, who knows, we may even cover some musicals.
That would be interesting.
Why not?
Why not?
Who doesn't love musicals? I mean, come on. Rocky Horror, Fishnets, let's do this.
They're redoing that. They're remaking Rocky Horror.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, that hurts my heart.
Let's not talk about that.
Rocky Horror Burlesque next weekend?
I mean, if they're remaking...
Oh, yeah, The Hideaway. We did karaoke over there last
night. Not cool.
No.
Not cool, bro.
No. I also didn't that news came out about the same time the news about Tim Curry came out. He'd been in poor health, and I don't think it's appropriate for them to touch that property right now.
I don't think
they should never touch it anyway.
They're going to remake everything at some point, and I see both sides of that. A lot of people may not realize who doesn't love the Wizard of Oz, right? Everybody loves the Wizard of Oz.
Everybody loves Oz. Yeah.
You guys do know the Wizard of Oz is a remake, right?
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz you saw, and the one that the one that played every year on television, that with Judy Garland, is a remake. So
the first one did not do well.
Oh, it was poop. But I'm just saying, to be fair, to say every remake is terrible, that's not true. Some of the remakes are actually classics, and sometimes they're crap. But I always try to give them a chance because a lot of people remaking these films are the ones that grew up watching them. So, give them a pass and give them a chance. Sometimes they hit it out of the park.
That's true.
Anybody got any questions? I can lie if I don't know the answer.
Oh, all righty. Let's do this.
Yes,
ma'am. Was there ever a time that you were discouraged to pursue being an artist? And if there was, could you tell me why?
Can you repeat that?
Were you ever
it was just enough ambient noise, I didn't get it.
Is there ever a time where you were discouraged while you were pursuing being an artist?
Every day. No, I'm not even kidding, because it's hard. Anytime you decide to branch out and do something other than what's normal, or I say normal because drawing pictures or writing isn't weird, but most people get a job at a grocery store or selling insurance or working on cars or at the bolt factory or sewing clothes or stuff like that, and those jobs are safe because you get paid every Friday. So
exactly.
So I mean. And there's insurance, which is always good if you get sick or your arm falls off or your spleen explodes. It's handy. So, yeah, I mean, it can be discouraging, but at the same time, for me, it was always, it's all I really knew how to do, and it's all I knew. It's all I wanted to do, and luckily, it's worked out so far.
So just go for it.
Why not? What's the work? The floor is only a few feet from you.
That's
if
exactly
you fall
right.
down, you can get back up.
Yeah, that's very true. Questions? Anybody?
Anybody else? Well, that was easy.
When does the Fuller and Elvira edition come out?
What?
When does the Fuller and Elvira Fangoria come out?
End of summer. I'm not sure. It's a travesty that we're just now getting her on the cover, in my opinion. But hey, at least it's happening.
Well,
That's because of Chris Alexander again. I'm gonna, it sounds like I'm kissing up, but I'm not. I'm tooting his horn because he deserves it. He, in my opinion, redeveloped Fangoria back into what it was supposed to be. And whether he's listening or not, I'll always toot his horn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was that do or die drive that gave you the strength and the courage to just do what you're doing that you like to do?
What gave me the
drive to
the
just
drive?
do it?
When I was little, my mom was not a professional artist, but she took art classes and she was big into art, so she was really always supportive. My dad's not an art guy at all, but he was always really supportive, and he always knew that he had a weird little kid that wasn't gonna sell air conditioners, And he's been really supportive my whole life, even to this day. And my wife, she knew going into this 20 years ago when she married me what she was getting into. And I tell her, it's funny, I tell everybody, Jesus hasn't killed me yet, and neither has my wife. Every morning when I wake up. So far, so good,
It's important to have a good support system.
Yeah, it is. And because to say that it's not to say that it's easy, it's not. For what I do one of these shows, give or take, once a month somewhere, so we travel a lot. A lot of times it's, to be honest with you, working on these projects, again, payday isn't Friday. It's when you're done. Or, and sometimes a project will be, hurry up, we got to get this done. Uh-oh, wait, we got to hold on. We're going to change something. And so then you sit. So, it's rough, but, if it's what you want to do, you just go for it. I mean, the worst that could happen, you'll starve to death and be homeless. I mean, come on, no big deal. Get over it, right?
You'll figure something out.
Refrigerator boxes aren't very expensive behind Best Buy.
Or you could go back home to your mom. She loves you.
Yeah, I'm 40 though, so
it would be weird. It'd be weird to take your wife too.
Yeah, I have two kids, so I guess that won't work.
It's a big house.
Well, I guess maybe if I could, if there's a big Best Buy, there may be 4 refrigerator boxes, and we could duct tape them together.
That sounds like a really awesome fort, Brian.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
So how do you, I know you do cons and you get to meet some amazing people, but really, how do you do it? Like, how do you get by with not knowing when this project's going to be done? I think because bottom line, when it all comes back to it, the main thing that hinders people from doing what they really, truly, passionately want to do is money. It is. I mean, it's that thought of...
It is, but I agree and respectfully disagree to an extent, because I think, let's be honest, money is super important.
Oh, yeah.
But money sucks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how little or how much you have. The fact that we wake up every day and everything is centered around finances, it blinds us from what's important. Because like I said, I'm a big believer, whether you want to put religion in it or take religion out of it, the bottom line is you're here and then you're not. And it's the middle that counts.
Right.
And the way the middle, you don't get to pick the beginning and you don't get to pick the end, but you can do whatever you want to with the middle. And when we get all caught up in money, the middle gets fuzzy.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with having lots of money, but then what if you're working a job that,
you hate.
You hate. and you eventually have a heart attack or whatever, and then you never did that thing you wanted to do. You never learned to play cello.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know. I guess this is almost like a motivational speech now.
Brian
But
Stewart, motivational speaker.
you can't. That's what I'll tell you. You can't pick your beginning or your end. But Jesus, man, make the best of your middle.
That's very true. Anybody else? Where are you from?
I am actually from Northeast Texas. Can't you tell? I mean, I talk like it. I mean, it's pretty obvious I'm from Texas, ain't it? I'm kidding.
Country, Brian.
I've really worked hard to get rid of that.
Get rid of it.
Believe me, that was the first thing I cut loose. But I still just used the phrase "cut loose." So maybe
You
it
got to
didn't
cut
take.
loose, Brian.
Maybe it did not take.
All righty. Go see Brian at his table.
I'm over
back
there in
on
the
that side of
corner. If you want to come by, I'd be happy to shake you guys for quarters. I am the best carny you're going to talk to all day.
That's true. Brian Stewart from Fangoria, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.